Hey there team, I've got another gameplay video for you. In this gameplay video, it's going to be actually a video of myself playing, so you get a bit of red rank experience in this video. This video is going to be illustrating how a lot of small mistakes can actually stack up in a sort of snowball to lose you the game very quickly without you realizing it, as well as a couple of map pressure concepts for you. So let's get right into it. So we've got Azarov's resting place, which is actually a pretty good map for killer. So we'll quickly go over the perks just to make sure. I've got Modern Abuse, Ruin, Barbecue and Chili, and Mindbreaker. The Modern Abuse, Ruin, and Barbecue and Chili are all pretty standard perks, and Mindbreaker I was just testing out. It's not very good. Alright, so I'm checking for survivors. Typically on this map they spawn on the opposite side of the map. I decided to go towards my Ruin totem. This is a pretty common thing to do. There's no mistakes here, but very quickly we're going to have a few mistakes coming up soon. As you can see, I find nobody, so I go towards this gen. It finishes very quickly. This is a very important mistake I'm about to make. I see two survivors, one on the left, one on the right. They go in a sprint burst away, so I get a Frail Frenzy. I see two more survivors. I start running towards them. Okay, first thing that is a mistake. I chase this survivor right here. This Steve obviously had sprint burst. I saw him walking earlier. This Nia or Kate or whoever that was did not. I saw her running. I should have chased her, but because I decided to chase this Steve, he ran me around with sprint burst, and it basically lost my power pretty quickly. Okay, so I should have gone into the pallet and then canceled. I did not. So I have to do this lengthy chase around this good building. He makes a bit of a mistake, so I get a hit on him, which is fine. He drops the pallet here, and I decide to play it for no reason. But I play it the wrong way. This is another mistake. If I was doing this correctly, he would have gone around this side of the car to where I'm standing, and then I would have kicked it on this side, so it would pushed him away from any other pallets. I didn't do this. This is a huge mistake. This extended the chase for longer than it should have. He opts not to go for that very safe car pallet. Instead, he goes for this rock. Now, he made a mistake, but I got very impatient, which lost me a hit and extended the chase even longer. At this point, it's about 20 seconds longer than it should be. So keep in mind, that is about the third mistake I've made in the first 2 minutes of the game. So I noticed that this Steve has seen my Ruin. I take him down, and I need to get him up on a hook to create some pressure. This Nia is very, very late. She doesn't get her flashlight save. Get a little impatient again, swing and miss. That's not too big of a mistake, it doesn't really matter. I get concerned because the Nia has also seen my Ruin, so I get a bit upset. There are two people working on gens at the moment. So, play this normally, that's a normal Legion thing. Get a stab, I see two people. Here's where the next mistake comes. If I have two options here. I see those two people, I can, one, cancel my power right now. That means I still have 3/4 of the power and it'll be recharged by the time I get out of stun. Or I just run straight up and hit them, chase them off the hill. Now, I don't do either of those things. Instead, I try to do a faking game to try to get him to fall off the hill. He's not going to do that. He's not an idiot. I am, however, and I lose my power, so nobody gets a hit, except for the first Nia. Now, I catch this Kate in a pretty bad spot. She's in a dead zone, so I just give her a hit, and I make yet another mistake. That's what, number 5 now? I decide to go back for this Ruin because I know that the Nia had just finished mending, and she's probably going to go back for it. Normally a smart play, but at this point, I shouldn't care about losing my Ruin. It's done its job. I need to create pressure. Like, I need to start snowballing hits. 3 people are hurt, but that's not going to be the case if I just lose sight of everyone. Which becomes the case here in a moment. I see that because she thought I was following her. I obviously wasn't. I should have been. If I had been, I'd been right on her trail, and this is a very weak tile, and I would have caught her, and she would have died. Now I check back there, and that one look back makes me lose all sight of her, because all these scratch marks lead up, and then she started walking this way, probably, most likely, because as you can see, I check back here, back behind this building, and I see nobody. There's no Kate. She's the only one hurt, and she just finished healing. She had a med kit, so where was she? I had no idea. Couldn't find her. Now this begins the long stint of the biggest mistake in this game, the most game-losing mistake. So let's take a look. How long was it before when I started failing? About right here, 3 minutes, okay? Fast forward ahead. Okay, they're all healed. 3:30. All right, I start walking around. That's 30 seconds that I've just lost to nothing, right? So I'm just looking around for survivors to hit. I'm not finding anything. This is all wasted time. This is all horrible things to do. This is the biggest mistake that you can make as a killer, is to waste time like this and lose sight of your survivors. You always need to keep them in view at all times. Now, if I was a little bit better, you'll find that this gen behind me, the middle gen back there next to the killer shack, is about to pop. There it is. I didn't get close enough to check on it, but I decided to go back for this Nia who broke my ruin. Which, I mean, normally if you can't find anybody and there's a noise notification, you'd go for it. But the problem is I never checked all the gens thoroughly. I should have. I didn't. At this point, I'm fairly tilted, as you can see me running into that truck, and I know that the game's most likely lost. 2 gens are left. There's almost every pallet still on the map. If I had traded every pallet on the map for no pressure and almost all the gens, I might be able to pull the game out. Because, one, I can slug a few people and end up, chasing the other ones down because they have nowhere to save themselves in terms of pallets, but that didn't happen. All of the safe pallets in this map are still up. Even all the weak ones are still up. So it doesn't matter. I begin to start pulling the game back in my favor, but it's too late at this point. I have no 3-gen to defend. I have nothing to really go on from here on. So I get some frenzy hits here, and that's really about it. I don't really pull anything out. So we'll let that play in the background. So that's how a bunch of small things can affect your late game. You can lose the game in the first 4 minutes of the game just by letting all these tiny mistakes keep going and going. Now, when it comes to map pressure, you really need to basically get downs. As Legion, that first Feral Frenzy is something that can honestly make or break the game. Now, this is a kind of a funny moment, I'm going to be honest. She should have gotten that, but for some reason she didn't, which is kind of whatever. I should have just committed to the Claudette and just gone for her, but at that point the exit opens, or the last gen finishes, so it's kind of pointless. I just get my pity stack of barbecue and chili and take it from there. So map pressure. Map pressure, the easiest way to get it is you hook people. So if you hook one person, you know that 2 people are going to be needed to solve that problem. 1 person on the hook, 1 person to unhook, okay? So if you catch a person trying to unhook, suddenly that pressure goes from 2 people to 3 people, or more if you end up downing that person or trading and making them both slugs on the ground. So that's the easiest way to do it. But with Legion, you can create a lot of pressure by doing a lot of frenzy hits in a row. So you can do that in your first frenzy just by hitting and hitting and hitting. And I robbed myself of this just by a simple mistake of choosing the person on the right rather than the person on the left, because I just didn't identify anything properly. There's a lot of very important things that you need to address, like, on the fly, and if you don't do that, it can literally lose you the entire game like it did here. So essentially what you need to do is make a lot of very good decisions in the red ranks. You can play perfectly, but if you misidentify things, the game can be dragged away from you by some fairly average survivors at best. These guys were not that good. They didn't really do anything other than split up in a map that's easily split, and they did gens, and I let them do the gens. I think they were at 3 stack, that's why they were all teabagging at the gate and letting the Nia die on the ground instead of trying to help her up. But, you know, it is what it is. So, I go back and I get my pity kill and throw her up onto a hook. So, I'm gonna skip ahead here. You can see that they had 2 toolboxes, which might have aided them in repairing the first gen quicker, but it didn't change any of the timings later on. So, things to note, I would say keep track of your small mistakes. If you make a few, don't brush them off, especially if you're in red ranks. Don't just brush them off, and make sure that you try to pull yourself together and identify the correct path in order to pull the game back. Oftentimes that's finding survivors and downing them and putting them on hooks and keeping survivors injured and all of that good stuff. So I hope that was illuminating for everyone. This was essentially an average game for me in the red ranks. I mean, usually I win against survivors like these, but not always. I mean, everybody, even good players, not saying that I'm the best, but even good players tend to lose. So that is the video. If you like this, give it a like. If you want to chat about something, give me a comment. Join my Discord if you want to send me a gameplay of your own, or you can email me and I'll have that up on the screen and in the description below. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you next time.